Hi guys, this is the Casual Fan. Well, welcome to Formula 1, or should I say welcome to the Formula 1 silly season. What has happened in the last 1 week is nothing short of shocking, mind-blowing, whatever you want to call it. It all started with Sebastian Vettel announcing his retirement from Formula 1 at the end of the 2023 season. Sure, that was a shock, and it left everyone slightly sad to see Sebastian Vettel leave the sport. Then Fernando Alonso announced an even bigger shocker with his move to Aston Martin. Again, this was unexpected because while Alpine is surging at this stage, Aston Martin has not had a strong season by any means. Yet, Alonso chose to leave for Alpine, and in the eyes of many, including me to be honest, this was certainly a shocking news. But having said that, arguably the biggest one of the last 1 week, it has to be what Oscar Piastri did last night. The driver had already signed a pre-agreement with McLaren, and this made things even more interesting as Alpine announced that Piastri would be driving for the team in the 2023 Formula 1 season as Fernando Alonso's replacement. Funnily, as it turns out, within a few hours, the Australian released a statement where he clarified that he had not signed anything with the team. Alpine had released the statement without his consent, and he will not be driving for the team in the 2023 season. Now, all of this does not make Alpine come out smelling like roses in any which way. The team got played by Fernando Alonso first, as he did not even inform Alpine that he was leaving for Aston Martin. Then Oscar Piastri, a driver that has been groomed by the team and invested heavily in the last few years. He turned his back on the team and pretty much publicly humiliated the French squad with his announcement on Twitter. The way Alpine has let all of this happen, the way the team was so overconfident in its handling of the drivers, is actually a lesson for the teams in the future, especially the ones that have these junior driver programs in place. These teams, they will certainly now look into their contracts and would keep an extra keen eye on drivers that they just cannot afford to let go. Having said that, while all of this public humiliation, it leaves Alpine red-faced and in desperate need of a driver, there is the other side to this as well. While Oscar Piastri and Fernando Alonso come out of this looking like heroes of some kind, there are long-term effects in play here. And questions need to be asked whether the decisions taken by the two drivers and the kind of mess it has caused, is it even worth it? Now in this video, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to look beyond the clutter and the theatrics that have dominated the F1 world in the last few days. What I'm trying to look at is whether the career moves that both Alonso and Piastri have made in the last 1 week, were they even worth it? To analyze, first I'll take a look at why these decisions might work, and then why they might backfire. After looking at both of them, I will give my final take on the entire situation. Now, first of all, if we take a look at why Alonso's decision could work, it does come down to something that the Spaniard had specifically mentioned when he signed for Aston Martin. It was the influx of winners from Mercedes and Red Bull to Aston Martin. The fact that Aston Martin was an attraction for a lot of talent from these teams made it a favorable destination for Alonso because it gave him the hope that this kind of talent could eventually click to build a race-winning car. The other thing that works for Aston Martin is the ridiculous investment it has received from Saudi Arabia that alleviates any kind of worries the team might have when it comes to finances. And finally, something that might have been extremely important for Alonso was the long-term contract that Lawrence Stroll offered him. It is a multi-year deal which should give the Spaniard the security when it comes to staying in the sport beyond the 2023 season as well. Now, when you combine all of it, you have a team that is not lacking when it comes to resources in any which way. To add to it, there is an influx of proven talent within the team. And finally, the team shows faith in Alonso to offer him a multi-year contract at 41 years old. On paper, Alonso's move to Aston Martin could work if everything clicks. Now, talking about Oscar Piastri, there are a few reasons why it is understandable Piastri wants to move to McLaren. In terms of brands and prestige, McLaren is a marquee brand without a doubt, especially in F1. On the other hand, McLaren has been a proven top midfield contender in the last few years. It was 4th in 2019, 3rd in 2020 and 4th again in 2021. McLaren has shown that it is arguably a team that is just one step below the front runners, and if you're making a debut in Formula 1, that is the kind of team you would like to be a part of. For Oscar Piastri to step up to Formula 1, on paper, yeah, McLaren does look like a team that is a very good option. Now, talking about the downside and the parts where even I am skeptical about, this is where the doubts start creeping in when we talk about the Fernando Alonso-Aston Martin partnership. First of all, when it comes to Fernando Alonso, I have zero doubts that the driver would be able to maintain a very high level of performance. He is a freak of nature, honestly, and even at 41 years old, he has shown no signs of slowing down. Keeping the driver aside, my concerns are with the team, because irrespective of the kind of money Stroll has thrown into the team and the kind of investment he is bringing in, Aston Martin as a team is on a downward spiral. Ever since Lawrence Stroll took over, the Racing Point of 2019 was average at best. The 2020 version was a copy of Mercedes. I think we all know that, and let's admit that was truly the case. The 2021 version of Aston Martin, well, it slumped down the order, and the 2022 has slumped even further. When you look at the graph of the team, it is showing consistent regression instead of progression. Aston Martin's DNA before Lawrence Stroll came in was of the Vijay Mallya owned Force India. The team was consistently 4th or 5th best team on the grid, despite having some of the worst financial support possible. That team from Silverstone was notorious for making every penny worth. On the contrary, Aston Martin has lost that DNA. The team has abundance when it comes to finances, but it is getting eliminated in Q1 more often than not, instead of fighting at the front of the grid where it should be with the influx of that kind of money. Not only that, Otmar Zafnar, one of the most respected leaders from Force India, he has left the team, and his replacement, Mike Crack, he does not aspire much confidence. Ever since Lawrence Stroll has taken over the team, the only time the team has been in the news is for the wrong reasons. First, it was for copying the Mercedes of 2019. Now this season, it is for copying the Red Bull of the new technical regulations. Aston Martin has potential, 100%, we cannot deny that. But even if we call it a diamond in the rough, it is going to take a few years before it can get its house in order. Will Alonso even be around to see that happen? He is banking on it, and maybe that's why the multi-year contract. But at least for now, there are far too many things that are going against Alonso's decision to sign with Aston Martin. Not talking about Oscar Piastri's potential move to McLaren, sure, the team has a great brand name. But one thing that a brand name does not do is translate into lap time. If I'm brutally honest, McLaren has been a bit of a disappointment this season. The car works on some tracks, but then is a disappointment on others. On the other hand, it is fair to say that Alpine has been the best midfield team this season in terms of performance. Sure, reliability has pegged it back. Regardless, it still leads the midfield charts ahead of McLaren. Now, in terms of car performance, there isn't much of a trade-off between McLaren and Alpine. For the next season as well, we can expect that Piastri would have a similar machinery in both the scenarios if he picks McLaren or Alpine, unless of course something drastic happens. One thing that would however be different for Piastri if he goes to Alpine instead of McLaren is that Piastri could become the face of Alpine as soon as he enters the team, because while Esteban Ocon is a strong teammate, he is probably a step below the elite drivers of the grid. On the other hand, if Piastri goes to McLaren, the team is the home of Lando Norris, arguably one of the best drivers on the grid right now. If I ask you, what sounds like an easier challenge, debuting against Esteban Ocon at Alpine or debuting against Lando Norris, the answer would almost always be debuting against Ocon at Alpine. At Alpine, Piastri gets the opportunity to slowly get to learn the ropes in F1 and then take over the team. At McLaren, on the other hand, you have Lando Norris putting together one smashing performance after the other, which will inevitably be a bigger benchmark to fight against in your debut season and in a team that is, well, to be fair, it is Lando Norris's team right now. Ultimately, if we talk about comparisons, at Alpine, Piastri gets a strong midfield car and a strong teammate against whom he has a better chance. At McLaren, he gets a similarly strong midfield car, but one of the best drivers in the other car. There is no doubt that making an impact at Alpine is going to be much easier for Piastri, unless of course he is the next Max Verstappen and blows everybody out of the water. And that is why questions need to be asked. Why is he creating such a mess while going to a similarly fast car with a much tougher teammate. Okay, now in the end, if we look at it, both Alonso and Piastri appear to have taken a gamble. And if it works, it could pay off very well. But if it does not, it certainly has the potential to backfire. In Alonso's case, he has gambled on a team that has the potential to be a frontrunner. But by the looks of it, the day it sorts everything out and becomes a frontrunner looks far, far away. On the other hand, Oscar Piastri has backed himself to go up against one of the biggest challenges a rookie could have as a teammate. If Piastri succeeds, he is the hottest property in Formula 1 and bigger teams will come calling. But if Piastri does not, because let's admit it, Lando Norris is no joke, then all the hype goes into the gutter. I can't really fault either of the two drivers because they have backed themselves against very tough odds. But by the looks of it, the gamble might just backfire for both of them. I hope it doesn't, and of course, I could be wrong in both the cases. But on initial impression, even though both Alonso and Piastri might just be looking like heroes right now, Alpine might just have the last laugh in all of this. So these are my views. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Thanks for watching and see you next time.